Tonight on Carolina News. Where's the line? How some Halloween costumes. Is the food in your fridge safe?
Number 7, Samantha McCaskill.
McCaskill. How one soccer player has kicked her way to the top. Carolina News starts now. Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Haley Ingram.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Felucci. Well, today is Halloween, and with that you always see a big variety of costumes. We've already seen students all over campus dressed up in preparation for a big night of trick-or-treating.
But some of those costumes can be seen as inappropriate or even offensive. Hannah Treese has more.
Halloween, a day where you can be anything you want.
I wanted to dress up as Pocahontas because I have dark hair and some facial features of a Native American, and then I have some in my background.
But for some, they wish costumes depicting other cultures stayed out of the day.
Don't do it.
Each year, Native American costumes are prominent on Halloween, sparking the debate of cultural appropriation.
There's something that's called tacky, and cultural appropriation is sort of tacky. Not to mention being insensitive,
And the issue of cultural appropriation is not a new one, but it's one that especially comes to light around Halloween time, when you can find costumes just like this in your local Halloween store.
And for some, the issue of depicting the Native American culture can be so hurtful because it is a culture that is still thriving today.
We're a living culture. We're still around. We're not dead. We don't take a liking to people appropriating our culture just for their fun.
But not everyone agrees that this is a pressing issue.
I think people are getting offended too easily over things. It's just a princess in a Disney movie, so all in all, it's not that serious.
Those who are offended say there can be a correct way to depict their culture.
If people approached it like we do, which is bringing honoring to Native culture, that would be a different thing, but people don't do that.
So whichever side of the issue you stand on, with Halloween night fast approaching, what you choose to dress up as could add to a conversation that will carry on well past October 31st. For Carolina News, I'm Hannah Treese.
And this conversation of cultural appropriation is coming right as Native American Heritage Month begins on November 1st. And the month kicks off in South Carolina with the Waccamaw Indian Peoples Arts Festival this weekend. Maureen Williamson is out on the Horseshoe with a Halloween weather update. Maureen?
Happy Halloween, guys. You would think for the end of October that it would be freezing outside, but it's about 60 degrees right now. Wind speeds at 3 miles per hour. This afternoon it's going to heat up to about 77 degrees, but once that sun sets, it's going to get down to 49. So if you guys plan on going trick-or-treating tonight, make sure you bundle up. But I'll have this and more coming up in my full forecast. Back to you guys.
The Lexington County Sheriff's Department is investigating a possible threat made to an Irma Middle School student on social media on Saturday. The mother of this child said her son received a video via social media app Snapchat. According to the incident report, the video shows two boys holding handguns. One of the boys seen holding the camera and the other seen pointing the gun and saying, "I'll shoot your brains out." The boy who received the video told deputies that it was sent to him directly and also posted on the story of the boy who sent it. The Sheriff's Department says the case has been assigned to a detective and spoke to the victim and the suspect, and the investigation is ongoing. The House Utility Ratepayer Committee held another meeting yesterday as it continues to investigate the failed VC Summer nuclear project. The committee unanimously voted to create legislation that would amend the Base Load Review Act. Lawmakers agreed to cut away any costs associated with the two nuclear reactors from ratepayers' energy bills. The Committee of Legislators voted to draft a bill that would repeal that rate and project ratepayers from paying any of the debt related to the failed project and set interim rate for payers.
Product recalls are fairly common, and while these recalls are issued at a national level by the FDA, their effects reach the local level as well for both consumers and farmers. Sarah Stone has the story.
B&B Farms owner Leonard Bell Jr. has just made another sale at the University of South Carolina's Healthy Farmers Market.
From a little town called Rich Spring, South Carolina.
But other farmers might not be faring so well. The FDA recently announced 4 multi-state vegetable product recalls for products that include vegetables grown by Mann Packing and Triple B Corporation. These vegetables were found to be contaminated with Listeria. At the State Farmers Market in West Columbia, Consumer Protection Services gave a better idea of what these recalls mean to the consumer. Both Derek Underwood and Angie Culler-Matthews at the South Carolina Department of Agriculture emphasized that recalls can happen for a lot of different reasons, and not necessarily just because the food is unsafe for consumers.
It could be something as employee health. You could have somebody who's actually harvesting the products that was tested with a pathogen or a communicable disease.
And there are some times when products are taken out from the market but aren't a part of a recall, like market withdrawals.
Typically industry driven, so a company can choose to withdraw their product from the market. That might not be a safety issue. It might be a quality issue.
But no matter where these recalls are or why they're announced, Underwood says they always have an impact on South Carolina farmers.
Broccoli is produced in South Carolina and broccoli is produced in California. The recall of product is from California. A broccoli grower in South Carolina is going to be affected just by the association of the word broccoli and recall. It could possibly make me sick.
Sometimes this impact can be positive.
A lot of times we use that to be able to promote South Carolina agriculture.
And that's been true for Bell Jr.
Around a long time and I got a good track record.
Hoping these recalls are kept to a minimum. Sarah Stone, Carolina News.
To find out more about these latest vegetable recalls, you can visit fda.gov/safety/recalls. Unlike pictures and posts people find on Facebook, this is something users won't like. About 126 million Americans could see content generated by the Russian government. The content was sent between June 2015 through August of this year. Attorneys for Facebook, Google, and Twitter will appear this week in public hearings and before the Senate and the House Intelligence Committees. Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and his associate Rick Gates pleaded not guilty on Monday after being indicted on 12 counts by a federal grand jury. This comes as the part of the special counsel investigation into Russian meddling and potential collusion with the Trump campaign officials in the 2016 presidential election. Manafort and Gates both have pleaded not guilty to all charges. According to the indictment, both men acted as unregistered agents of the government of Ukraine. As a result, they generated tens of millions of dollars in income. The indictment claims that Manafort and Gates laundered the money
connections
through
between Paul Manafort and some of Vladimir
of the United States, foreign corporations, partnerships, and bank accounts in order to hide Ukraine payments from U.S. authorities. Manafort's attorney had this to say about the allegations against his client.
He was seeking to further democracy and to help the Ukraine come closer to the United States and the EU. Those activities ended in 2014, over 2 years before Mr. Manafort served in the Trump campaign.
We will keep you updated as more information becomes available.
Kevin Spacey is under fire for tweeting an apology for an alleged sexual assault and coming out gay immediately afterwards. Actor Anthony Rapp told BuzzFeed that the House of Cards star made a sexual advance toward him in 1986. Rapp was 14 at the time, and Kevin Spacey was 26. Spacey has stated on Twitter that he could have been drunk at the time but does not remember the incident. Many other celebrities responded by accusing the actor of deflecting assault allegations by announcing he is gay. Columnist Dan Savage said that being drunk or closeted does not excuse assaulting a 14-year-old child. Coming up on Carolina News, we'll tell you more about the men's basketball exhibition game and what what head coach Frank Martin had to say about it after the break.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
After their first game against Erskine, our very own Brianna Morales has the story.
The Gamecocks started off their season last night at Colonial Life Arena and put on quite the show. Coming off a Final Four appearance, the team had some big shoes to fill, and the fans were there to support. And threes were the name of the game. Shooting 35 three-point shots, Chris Silva scored 15 points to lead the game and left some big shoes to fill in the second half. In the second half, the Gamecocks offense slumped slightly compared to the first, and Gamecocks head coach, Frank Martin, said this was due to the team playing to the score. And despite the fact that they did seem to play to the score worked out in their favor as the game ended in an 85-44 lead. The Gamecocks are looking good after their first exhibition game. As you can see, they gave Erskine quite the beatdown. And without Sindarius Thornwell, Notice, and PJ, one can only hope the Gamecocks stay hungry on the defensive end and produce efficiently on the offensive end. And although us Gamecock fans can't just forget our journey to the Final Four last year, head coach Frank Martin says there's no looking back.
Yeah, we don't talk about last year. Last year's team's got nothing to do with this year's team, just like the team that won 14 games my first year, they had nothing to do with the team that won 25 the year before.
Unless they're looking at it from a learning aspect.
Let's get to the stagger, let's get to the stagger.
And Gamecock superfan, Gamecock Jesus, can't wait to see what the Cocks have in store.
A lot of potential for the team. They're playing very, very hard and they're playing good defense, and we have so many new players. It's going to be a progress. It's going to be a work in progress.
And although this team might be a work in progress, if last night's game was telling of the future for men's basketball, this should be one good season. For Carolina News, I'm Brianna Morales.
The Gamecocks will play their next game on November 10th against the Terriers at Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium.
The women's soccer team is gearing up for postseason play, and one senior is ready to make one final impact on the team and Gamecock fans. Claudia Chikamian has the story.
Number 7, Savannah McCaskill.
Most everyone in Columbia knows her name and what she's done for the South Carolina women's soccer program. And as Savannah McCaskill's career at South Carolina comes to a close, she reflects on her journey in Garnet and Black.
I've known Shelly for a while. I had her as a region team coach growing up, and so I really knew what she stood for and what she believed in, and then being able to come and visit. And being from here, I've grown up watching South Carolina play, so just really buying into that culture and seeing what they were able to do here.
McCaskill wanted to go somewhere where she could immediately make an impact. With Carolina being her first love, she decided to make it home. The Gamecock coaching staff saw the potential in her and found a way to get her on the field quickly.
Honestly, we recruited her as a defender initially, and when she came into the program, we had a pretty solid back four, and we wanted her on the field, so we put her up, and she's just blossomed there and obviously been one of the best fours in the country.
McCaskill's list of accomplishments speak for themselves as she's etched her name in South Carolina record books for years to come. She is quick to point out that her success has come because of the talented players around her. There are 7 seniors on the team who have led the way to the best 4-year span in Gamecock history.
They're competitive, but they're also very caring people, and they want what's best for the team, and that's what you want in your leaders.
The Gamecocks claimed the SEC regular season title for the 2nd straight year and now have sights set on postseason play. For McCaskill, she's focused on the tournaments and finishing her career here on top.
This team has so much more to come in this season, and so it's kind of like I don't really want to look forward to leaving, I guess, at this point.
Whenever her Gamecock career ends, the soccer journey will continue. The young forward is ready to kick her career to the next level. McCaskill is excited about her future opportunities, and after her recent national team experience, she is preparing for the draft in January.
It's always an honor to play for the national team. Every time you put on that crest, you're representing not only yourself, but your family, the whole country. The draft's in January, so looking forward to that. It's always kind of weird, like you don't know where you're going, so that's definitely going to be an exciting opportunity.
Coach Shelley Smith credits McCaskill for taking advantage of every opportunity in college and for working so hard to make her dreams come true.
All the credit to Savannah to take the opportunity she's been given and to maximize her potential. And so I'm thrilled for her and excited for how she's represented our program and the opportunity she's given herself beyond college.
And as McCaskill gets ready for postseason play in her final minutes as a Gamecock, she hopes she has left a lasting impression.
We talk about leaving our jersey better than we found it, so I'd like to think that I've left number 7 better than I found it and make an impact for this program to build upon.
And Gamecock fans will always remember the legacy that McCaskill has left on number 7. Claudia Chikamian, Carolina News.
The Gamecocks kick off their SEC tournament run tonight in Florida. Dakota Watson will have more for you on that later in the show. It looks like the weather is probably going to be a little bit warmer in Florida for them than it's going to be here tonight.
That's right. Maureen is on the horseshoe with what to expect on while you're trick-or-treating tonight.
That's right, guys. It's going to be a cold one out tonight, so make sure you guys stay tuned, and I'll tell you exactly what to expect coming up in my full forecast next.
HGTV stars Chip and Joanna Gaines don't usually stray away far from Waco. But the couple is making a special trip to Houston to help Hurricane Harvey victims. The pair is teaming up with volunteers in the area to help fix up the homes that were lost during the hurricane. 81-year-old Doris Davis, whose house was left completely underwater, was shocked by the kindness Chip and JoJo showed while rebuilding her house. Although the two are stepping away from their hit show after 5 seasons, they are going to keep using their talents to help others. It's always good to hear stories like that, but thankfully we haven't really had to deal with any hurricanes recently. The weather's actually been pretty nice, right?
Yes, it's been perfect out today. Currently in Columbia, it is 75 degrees outside, and our humidity levels are at about 39%, and we have some mild winds, about 3 miles per hour southwest. Here our graphic is popping up there. But we'll go ahead and move on to our current temperatures in Columbia. Right now, again, as I said, it is 75 degrees in Columbia. Guess we're having a couple difficulties here. There we go, right underneath, around 76 in Orangeburg. And along the coast here, we're looking at 71 in Hilton Head, 73 in Charleston, and Myrtle Beach, 71 as well. And as we look up in the upstate, it's both 71 in Greenville and Rock Hill. Moving on to tonight's lows, it's going to be about 49 degrees in Columbia. So if you guys plan on going out tonight, definitely bundle up. Underneath, we have 44 degrees in Orangeburg, up in the upstate again, 47 in Greenville, 45 in Rock Hill. And along the coast here, we're looking at temperatures in the low 50s, 54 at Hilton Head, 52 both in Charleston and Myrtle Beach. Moving on to tomorrow's highs, in Columbia, it's going to be 77 degrees, so a little bit warmer than today. Along the coast here, mid-70s as well. And up top, we're looking at 72 in Greenville and 73 in Rock Hill. So we're going to take a look at our national map next. If you look along the east coast here, we're seeing some sunshine and some temperatures in the 60s and 70s. As you move up north, we get some cloud cover and some lower temperatures. And as we move into the central part of the U.S., more cloud cover and some rain. Over here on the west coast, temperatures just like the east coast in the 60s and 70s. So sunshine and nice. We'll take a look at our 5-day forecast next. Again, mid-70s, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're looking at 77, 56. If we take a look at Thursday, 78 degrees with a low of 54. And as we move into the weekend, we are looking at some higher temperatures, 82 Friday and 80 on Saturday. So it's going to be nice temperature here in Columbia. It's also going to be some nice temperature in Georgia. So if you're going out to the football game, it's going to about to be 76 around there too. So nice weather in both places.
Good to hear. It sounds like it's going to be a little chilly tonight, but I don't even think snow would stop these kids from going out tonight.
Definitely not.
So
Definitely not.
It's Halloween.
Gotta celebrate it.
You have to work with it either way. But in some other news, the Georgia game, like you were saying, good weather, and South Carolina athletics are in full swing this week, with men's basketball finally back in action and women's soccer poised for a big postseason run. There's plenty for Gamecock fans to get excited about. Dakota Watson will have this and all of your NFL highlights next.
My little girl loves to play outdoors. It's just too hard to keep her inside. I really don't have enough time to play with her, and she cries if I don't let her out. She does bring home some disgusting things. I don't know what she gets up to while she's gone, but she always comes back.
You wouldn't treat your child this way. Why is it okay for your cat? Please, be responsible. Keep your cat indoors.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Well, I know Brianna told us a little bit about the game earlier, and I went for a little while myself. Great to see them back on the court after their run last year. So looking forward to a great
you're
season.
lucky you went. They almost doubled Erskine's score. I know it was just an exhibition game. It's still nice to see. Yeah, the USC men's basketball team hit the hardwood last night for the first time since their Final Four appearance. The Gamecocks took on Erskine College in a lopsided exhibition game. Freshman newcomer David Beatty and Justin Minaya looked solid with 8 and 13 points respectively, while transfer guard Frank Booker finished with 11. Top returning scorer Chris Silva led all players with 15 points, including a rare three-pointer he got to roll in. But talented freshman Ibrahim Doumbia stole all the candy last night with a hand-in-the-cookie jar put-back slam. You may or may not see this poster in my room at some point. The Gamecocks won handily over Erskine by a score of 85-44. The Gamecock women's soccer team finished as regular season SEC champions, but now they have their eyes set on postseason play. The Gamecocks travel to Alabama tonight to take on Arkansas at 6 p.m. in the quarterfinal round of the SEC tournament. USC is ranked third in the country and secured the #1 seed in the tournament. In NFL action, the Kansas City Chiefs took on the Denver Broncos last night. Early in the first quarter, former Chiefs running back Jamal Charles takes the handoff around the right side and is stripped by Marcus Peters, who scooped up the fumble at the 45 and took it all the way back for an early Chiefs lead. One drive later, Alex Smith finds a wide-open Travis Kelce for a 29-yard touchdown, who literally single-handedly destroyed my fantasy team and then danced in my face. Appreciate it, Travis. The game could have gotten out of hand quickly if it wasn't for the Chiefs trying to celebrate Halloween a day early. The trick play is intercepted by none other than former South Carolina standout Darian Stewart. The Broncos try to get back in the game late in the third quarter, cutting it to a one-possession game, but but 3 Harrison Butker field goals later, and the Chiefs come away with the 29-19 win. More news and notes around the NFL. Cowboys fans and fantasy football owners may need to go trick-or-treating tonight just to boost their morale. With news coming out of the U.S. District Court declining Ezekiel Elliott's preliminary injunction, the Cowboys star will be out for 6 games pending an appeal. There were also 2 big trades in the past 24 hours. Jimmy Garoppolo, widely recognized as one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league, is a backup no longer. The former New England Patriot was traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a second-round draft pick. The other player looking for a new home on Zillow is running back Jay Ajayi. The former Miami Dolphin was traded to Philadelphia Eagles this morning in exchange for a 4th-round draft pick. Also, this just in, if you guys didn't hear, Kelvin Benjamin was just traded like 15 minutes ago from the Patriots to the Bills, I believe, for a draft pick. So I'm not happy myself.
Yeah, it's been a crazy trade deadline. Just trades left and right, big-name players going to different places.
Don't usually see it in the NFL.
Yeah, big mix-up. So
must also stink to be traded on Halloween. That's not fun for Jay Ajayi.
Not at all. But coming up after the break, we do have some good Halloween news. See how neighbors made one little boy's Halloween extra special. Cole Girardi might have spinal muscular atrophy, but this Halloween, he will have the coolest costume on the block. The disease affects his nervous system and requires him to use a wheelchair, but with a little help from The Force and his neighbor Mike Fernandez, he is set to have a Halloween that is out of this world. Fernandez designed this Star Wars fighter costume for Cole in 8 weeks, and it looks like a prop straight out of the movie. Cole's mom even bought him a Stormtrooper pilot costume to go with it. I mean, that is just adorable, but I hope the weather stays okay for him tonight. What's it like?
Yes, it definitely is. We're going to have temperatures in the mid-70s, as I said earlier. Wednesday, we're looking at 77, Thursday, 78, and then some higher temperatures as we move into Friday and Saturday, which is super nice. So, yep.
It's good to hear that it won't be too cold tonight, but that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow and have a great evening.